Hello, today I'm going to be talking to you about the tissues reveal video. So according to your questions, I have your questions listed above me. One of the questions is explain the tissues. So there's four types of tissues. It's called the epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscle tissue, and nervous tissue. So with the epithelial tissue, I did draw a picture right here. Kind of shows the epithelial tissue and all the other stuff I'm going to cover. So the epithelial tissue is divided by underlying tissue, and there's a second one called the connective tissue. It's a support system that kind of just protects the organs from any damage. And then the third one is the muscle tissue. So with the muscle tissue, it focuses more on the movement. So kind of it's kind of self-explanatory. You lift weight, your muscles are always moving. It's the ability to contract and not extract. And then you have the nervous tissue. So with the nervous tissue, it serves and carries signals throughout the entire body. And again, I will show you my picture for that one right here. Just a little rough sketch. And then your other question was characteristics of epithelial tissue. So there are different characteristics of the epithelial tissue. So I have different kinds of characteristics. As you can see, they're all different. They all play a different role in certain things. And then I have the different types of you said explain, simple, stratified, etc. So I'm going to be explaining to you the simple, squamous, and those type of things. So there's a thing called a simple squamous, and the simple squamous it's like a single layer of fat, and then you have this simple cuboidal, I think is how you pronounce it. It's the lining of the neuron, so it's like a secretion all in one. And then you have the let me think here. You have the stratified squamous, so this maintains the structure of everything. And then you have the stratified cuboidal. So the stratified cuboidal is like a secretion absorption. It's it goes into the blood and the lymph nodes. You then have number 5 being the simple columnar, I think is what it's called. It kind of just lines the organs and the digestive tract. With that being said, we have number 6 as the stratified columnar. It's a rare type of epithelial tissue within the body. You have the pseudostratified. I butchered that name. I tried to listen to it on Google and I just could not get it. It's it collects foreign materials. So when I say foreign materials, it's kind of like if you were to get dust in your nose or anything else within your body, you would automatically sneeze or cough it out and get rid of any bad bacteria that is not supposed to be in your body. You'd have another one that's called the transitional. So the transitional is kind of like the function of any volume or liquid within the organ. So we kind of covered a whole bunch of stuff that consisted of the cuboidal, columnar, transitional, stratified, simple, and pseudostratified. I know, I butchered it. So the connective tissue, one of your other questions was the connective tissue has 3 components. Those 3 components are cells, fibers, and grand substances. So with those 3, it's what makes up the connective tissue into 3 main components. Your other question is, I do have a picture of that actually, of the last thing I talked about. So this is kind of all of my squamous. I kind of drew them all out the best that I could of what they all kind of look like. So there's that, and then I have a few other drawings. And when we get to that. So your next question is types of fibers and cells found within the connective tissue. So within the connective tissue there is collagen, and that is red. And then you have a reticular, which would be black, and in the connective tissue consists of what we call fibroblast. So this is kind of the most common in any cell type. Most cells contain plasma and etc. So I kind of drew a picture of what I am talking about for a better reference. So we have over here, we have different things that I just talked about to the best that I could draw them. These kind of reminded me of, well, those aren't it. These kind of reminded me of cinnamon rolls. So I kind of made some like personal connections to them. So on the side of here, these are just the fibers, and I kind of can send a better picture of kind of my drawing. But that's that. And then to cover your other question, you said 3 muscle types. So there are 3 muscle types. The muscle types are cardiac, smooth, and the skeletal. So with that being said, the characteristics of those muscle types are its elasticity. So the elasticity, they can return back to normal once they are stretched. And then the extensivity, where they can be stretched. So the cause of the extensivity comes from the elasticity, or vice versa. And then you have the contractibility, and the excitability. So with that being said, I kind of drew some pictures to kind of explain what I am talking about. So here, I know they're beautiful. It's just a guy throwing a ball. So, and this is her mitt. So it's her ability to respond to a simulation. So her natural reaction is she needs to catch that ball, or it's going to hit her in the face. So the second one is the extensibility. So it's the ability to stretch beyond resting length. So it's just, I drew a picture of him kind of extending at the elbow. It's just stretching your arm in a way that can be stretched. And then you have contractibility. So it's just where your hand can contract and open and close. It's just the body's way of contracting the hands to any body part. Down here, I kind of drew a picture of the pulling of the skin, which would be the elasticity. Would be if you kind of drew a picture, if you were to pull up on your skin like that, it'd be the elasticity of your skin. So here's just some of my images: bending at the elbow, catching a ball into the glove. So that's kind of what I have for you, and I can send a better close-up of those pictures that I did draw, just to keep you posted and stuff like that. So, but thanks.